And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the last episode of this week. It's going to be a 2 vs 2 on Oka River with me, your host Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda, Hero of the Reich, Defender of the Fatherland, with a 2 vs 2. A bit of strategical and tactical analysis, of course, historical insight. We shall be watching Rickysheu and Ccarts 03 fighting for the Wehrmacht, for the Germans, in the southern corner, rolling out in the name of the, let's just say 3rd SS Panzer Division Totenkopf. Opposing them shall be Hansmoleman and Caeltos, fighting for the Soviet Union, taking on the fight for the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps. I was about to slip on that one there, but quite didn't. Also note here, Caeltos is going up for the Special Rifle Command start. Perhaps not the most useful one, but Caeltos apparently swears to it. Whereas Mr. Moleman is going out with some conscripts right away. And we're also noting here that immediately what Ccarts is doing is actually getting up pioneers. He's not even getting a 3rd one. He's not building anything for the time being, it would seem. In the meanwhile, we are seeing a more standard approach from Rickysheu. And what is now happening, in fact, he's already taking up within the first few minutes, and immediately then setting about building a few cache. So clearly what Mr. Ccarts is up to is clearly some sort of rush, some sort of swift move towards something a bit higher up the tier. Sort of a bit like, you know, what Caeltos is going on. So either way, on both sides here, I mean, there's going to be very little action. Initially, there's going to be very little pressure, which is rather interesting that somehow both rather tend to go for the sort of thing, except Caeltos will have the slight advantage, since again he can quickly get some infantry out, and more specifically the Strafniki. The penal troops, solid combat troops with their SVT-40s, the Soviet semi-automatic rifle of choice, actually a downgraded fully automatic rifle, also known as the battle rifle, but problem was it wasn't really good for the rifle due to the recoil. And a 3rd squad of pioneers there for the Totenkopf. Again, not the nicest division ever known, though generally the SS divisions weren't exactly known for being a bundle of fluffy kittens. And if you are, I might inquire as to what the sort of books you're reading, because they're likely full of shit. That's not to say they're all eaten kittens either, but you know, they were certainly not saints, far from it. But right here, taking up position, this is actually a bit of an odd move by Rickysheu. Of course, he wants to take this, but it's not really good for his infantry. And there we go, forced out of the building by a Molotov, lighting the shed on fire with the righteousness of the Rodina. And there we go, Caeltos is immediately providing his penal battalion in support. Of course, it's not a full penal battalion, but sort of more reference to the fact they're from it, which I suppose is a bit awkward. Then they decide to call a 6-man squad for the penal battalion. And of course, one thing to note is the Germans also sort of played around with penal units. Not quite to the same extent that the Soviets did, but they still had some effect. And there we go, a scout car up from Caeltos, with its 50 caliber raking into the poor unfortunate pioneers. And we're also seeing the Light Mechanized Company going up. And he might, yes indeed, he's going for the scout car, the Leichte Panzerspeerwagen. We're seeing the grenadiers here absolutely slaughtered. It seems like, no, looks like poor Heinz, with the blood of his comrades down his uniform, is making one hell of a run for it.
Our opponents are seizing the sector.
And quickly setting up some sandbags while taking the point there. Penal troops continue to reconnect there. Their crimes in this case compose of all having German names, and thus being deemed criminal and slightly put away. Though in reality it would later turn out it was all a sheer coincidence, and the fact they had nothing to do with Germany. They'd never even been to Germany. They even heard of it. But pioneers sneaking out here, we're seeing now some heavy cashing going up here from Caeltos. The scout car returning to the fight. More Strafniki arriving in there. Well, Rickysheu is rather overextending himself again. That's a bit of a problem with current playstyle that's going on. And again, it's rather something you'd normally see in Common Heroes. And again, just like in Common Heroes, it rather leaves one player to do all the fighting, except there's no medic bunker, for example, to mitigate. And there we go, satchel charge. No, need to be careful, And we see the entire house blown to matchsticks, while the conscripts hold out inside the church. And there we go, Pioneers being engaged once more by the scout car full of the Strafniki and the SVT-40s. The Pioneers here are in what you call trouble. And there we go, retreating at the same time. Oh, Pioneers got wiped out, scout car arriving. Auto cannon shattering through the not considerably thick armor, and there we go, ending it. Turning it into a wreck, a monument to American Lend-Lease equipment. And a quick Molotov there pushes back Rickysheu's Grenadiers. In fact, it's time to look at Rickysheu. No doctrine from them as of yet. Mortar rounds flying down from above. And again, note, my apology again for all those replays, you know, again, rendered inoperable by the patch. And again, this was rather one of the few replays I got in the meanwhile. Again, that's sort of the tricky part with patching and all that. And beta, for that matter. You never know when all of a sudden a lot of replays just get turned useless. Scout car, though, continues to harass. Already getting advantage one as it's tearing through Caeltos fuel catch, and Rickysheu, he's just getting absolutely overwhelmed and outmaneuvered. Well done there by Hansmoleman. For the time being, anyways, although now looks like Rickysheu is slightly striking back. Caeltos' penal troops moving forward, and looks like the conscript squad got wiped out there by a combined mortar round and other nasty things. I don't think it was very often that entire units were equipped with SVT-40s. I know, for example, that Soviet naval troops were equipped like that, for example, during the siege of Sevastopol. But beyond that, I'm a bit unclear about that. Of course, they didn't have enough to equip everyone, otherwise they wouldn't have been bloody well using the Mosin gun. And of course, the fun thing is, Soviet infantry doctrine, to a certain extent, had some things with the American infantry doctrine. Again, they were focusing on the rifles and not so much the machine guns, which is rather wide to a larger extent. They relied on the Maxim and the also considerably old DP-28. And we're seeing assault support doctrine. Yes, indeed, it's been unlocked. And we're seeing here Ccarts going for the Opel Blitz cargo truck. I hope they add in other Opel Blitzes. For the Blitz! Schnell! And they're going infantry coming under fire. This scout car seems to be doing semi-alright. We're seeing all of these penal troops slightly cold. Not quite enjoying this kind of weather as auto cannon rounds shell them. And we're seeing fuel caches going up. Clearly, this is part of Ccarts' plan, going to up it a notch. That is definitely quite interesting. Of course, combining the Opel Blitz with the fuel cache, but of course at the same time that once more leaves most of the pressure on Rickysheu, because again that also means that's a lot of manpower not going towards my apologies, combat troops. But for now the Germans are holding on. Rickysheu's doing alright. They were able to catch Caeltos and bit Hansmoleman there, and the scout car from Ccarts is also doing a bit. And there we go, Panzer Grenadiers rolling in. Scout car though needs to be careful, although eventually too is making it harder for the shock troops and the PTH-41 to take out. And there we go, grenade, Panzer Grenadiers dodge it just barely, but they get way too close to the shock troopers and they take considerable casualties in the process. Also munitions can secure that cut-off point. That's also one way you could actually use them, and again always good with more munitions if you were to inquire with me. Scout car now continuing its reign of something. I'm not sure how to describe that. The blizzard though goes in, and we're seeing a Flambagen out there for Rickysheu, going to burn the Bolsheviks to cinders. And we're also seeing he's actually beginning to losing it, but there we go, the shock troopers realising that while they do want to get some warmth, they don't want to get that warm either. Picky little bastards, but there you go. Refusing to accept the generosity of the Wehrmacht. Donating warmth and heat. But there we go, it wants to be a bit careful, of course, since it knows there's a field gun, of course, the potential for anti-tank grenades. We also see it, Hansmoleman's realising, of course, he can't see it, he can't entirely know where it's going to come from, so he's actually beginning to pull back his field gun. Very nice tactical realisation right there from Kameraden Hansmoleman. There we go, oh dear, it's going to drive right past him, burn his crew, toast it, cook it, saute it and flambe it. A dreadful thing, and in fact the Flambagen actually received more nerfs. It now shoots shorter bursts, and it also has a considerable now longer reload time, so that has been nerfed once more. And I'm still hoping they buff the regular half track, since that's getting increasingly less useful. But there you go, Veterans 1 needs to be careful though, needs to be careful. But again, he can't really do as much damage now as he hoped to on this, and it requires several bursts before the field gun crew sufficiently bursts into flame. And of course, I mean, now it's within the base anyway, so it's going to be easily recruited. And there we go though, conscripts charging in for the motherland, the Rodina. The chants of the Order of Lenin. But we are seeing here that the penal troops from Caeltos is constantly charging straight ahead, blowing up churches, blowing up buildings. Apparently they were also incarcerated and put into the penal battalions for an excessive use of satchel charges and blowing up hostile well, any building for that matter. Yes, comrade, it is for the war effort, but it is an orphanage. Yes, but shut up. And there we go, conscripts going to ambush the Flammwagen. And there we go, damning, but they do suffer a bit of the fire of the fatherland. And popping out to Caeltos, we're seeing this shock motor doctrine with the ISU-152 shock troops, he's augmenting his penal troops with. And of course, he's not quite got the field presence. On the other hand, he's got some high anti-infantry firepower units. And there we go, Grenadiers getting caught here. Rifle grenade! Dying for the good of the Soviet Union, according to the penal battalion squad leader. I'm not going to argue with that man. He sounds very unfriendly. But we are seeing an Su-76 moving up, a small light assault gun, which the Soviets are quite fond of. And there we go, Veterans of Fleet increasing the damage of the Panzerspielwagen. So fun there. Rickysheu pushing forwards once more. Flammwagen pulling back. Interesting enough, no Panzer Grenadiers from Rickysheu. In fact, looks like Hansmoleman's also gone for shock doctrine, and assuming they're coordinating, that means he's likely going for the shock rifle doctrine. That is the potential of IS-2 heavy tanks. And there you go, Hansmoleman, Caeltos coordinating an assault here as we see the other position here, the Bastion in the west coming under assault from the Fritzes. Penal troops pushing up there, and the Su-76 moving up the Ccarts, which means little bitch. Yes, the Soviets weren't exactly known as being very poetic. And satchel charge gets the Panzer Grenadier squad. Rather unfortunate there for Mr. Ccarts, who's now getting the Sturmgeschütz out. The Stug free. Units are dying, Panzers are firing, and they are quickly going to need to get out of there. And looks like some shock troops suffered a very grim fate there, sprawling around like earthworms from a bucket.
Su-76 here.
You need a suicide squad?
Always cheers for those penal battalions. Stug running up, upgrade with the machine gun. Not entirely sure why he does it. It's not necessarily that effective, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Flammwagen moving up. T-70 light tank up from Hansmoleman, firing into the fascists. And there we go. Flammwagen needs to be careful. It's coming under fire from the field gun. There we go. Veteran 2, making it tougher, making it less likely to get knocked out. Grenadiers here on the run from the T-70 light tank, which in fact is what this Su-76 is based on in terms of chassis. Stug rolling up there, encountering a bit of Soviet hostilities. Getting one unfortunate shock trooper. Su-76 having a bit of trouble dealing with the frontal armour of it. And Stug apparently getting a few more kills there. Scout car adding in now to the volume of death and destruction as the Su-76 is being pulled up there by Caeltos, laying down a mine belt to slow down the fascist advance. And the T-70 continues to wreak havoc. Well used there by Hansmoleman, seemingly master of the tiny tank terror. And note, he's actually using the infantry awareness ability of the scout car, something the German light vehicles get. The ability to basically spot out, could there be anyone trying to sneak up on me and do terrible, terrible things to me? In this case, he's not spotting it, and therefore he's going in after the Su-76, but he needs to be careful with the scout car. That Su-76 could fire off a few good shots, and that would be the end of that leichte Panzerspielwagen. Russians though holding out. First Guards mechanized corps is not doing too well at the moment. And the T-70 retreats for the time being. And the Stug, another Sturmgeschütz. And Flammwagen moving in there, a bit too close. Rickysheu getting a bit too reckless there, a bit too reckless. And now coming under fire from several angles as the field gun fires into the rear. T-70 as well, and the SU-76 from the front. And there you go, the Flammagen is now a flaming wreck. Flaming in life, flaming in death, just as it probably wouldn't have preferred it. And popping over to Hansmoleman, in fact, who has gone for it. Bad news for the Hitlerites. Noting here munitions cache more going up for Hansmoleman, loving his munitions. Also finding this one's getting wrecked by those damnable Germans. Also looks like that Mr. Ccarts is actually conducting a retreat. He's slowing down one telemine though, but otherwise he's actually pulling back, realizing this is a pretty bad spot for him to hold, and thus conducting retreat. Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea at all. Sometimes, you know, you just have to give ground if you feel like you can't hold it. Medic station up here. I mean, considering the proximity of the bunkers, it might have been an idea, you know, if they only built one, you know, right around here. Just a suggestion. We're also seeing the heavy Panzer Co-op for Rickysheu. So likely we will be seeing Panthers. Yes, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Not sure what model this will be, but likely the Model OG, I think. Which was considerably more stable than the initial Model D, or was it Model A? There's a bit of confusion there from my part, but still, some of the early models of the Panther were incredibly unreliable, and some of them were in fact sent off to, for example, the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland, which rather meant that their Panthers were sometimes working, sometimes not quite as much. Panther also had a really fun design flaw due to initially using aircraft engines. Not sure if they fixed that, but either way, it rather meant that occasionally, if it tipped into the wrong angle, the engine burst into flames. Yes, indeed, fun there. And we're noting here that Ccarts is actually building up a considerable armoured force of Stugs and a light armoured car as well. Quite a bit of Wehrmacht material. And rolling out in the name of Das Vaterland. In this case, the 3rd SS Totenkopf. Panther, though, forces away the shock troopers. We're also seeing here that Mr. Caeltos is now getting the Su-85. Penal troops sweeping the way. And there we go, Ccarts leading his armoured wedge ahead. Using Stugs. Opening up on the penal troops, not really having much luck. Panther hitting in from the other angle, tearing through the shock troops. Assault guns, tank destroyers slowly going to roll in. Stug here needs to be a bit careful. Panther's just crushing as many penal troops as possible beneath its treads. The insanity. And Rickysheu here needs to be careful though. He's operating with his Panzer on its own. There's not much clear of an idea, and there's now T-34 roaming, which could knock it out by ramming it. Or at least, you know, disable it. But there you go, Germans advancing. Su-76 out of control. Could they flank here? Could they cause severe harm? Field gun crew members are dying to severe, unrelenting bombardment from the Stugs. That man machine gun fire. A second Panther rolling up for Rickysheu. The SS is now apparently in full flourish. Su-85 rolling in, trying to intercept, but not really going to do much. Scout car though pushing on. Ccarts, you're being rather reckless there. And there you go, T-70 opening up. And there you go, T-34 moving in. One Stug already close to going down. Panthers rolling in from the other angle. Stug down. 2 Stugs down. Field guns are raking up the kills. 2 Stugs for only about, well, 1 T-70 and a T-34. I would say that's a decent trade. Now the Panthers continuing in, and Rickysheu here needs to be careful. If he loses them, that's definitely going to be a terrible moment in the Wehrmacht history. Field gun here, Cook got cleared out. Panthers need to pull out here. It would be great here if he'd gone festering armour, and thus could deploy the smoke to save his hide. And this Panther could go down. The field gun has not been cleared out. It's veteran 2, meaning increased damage. And there we go, destroyed engine. The Su-85 rolling forwards, already close to veteran 2. There we go, field gun is down. Someone needs to quickly move up there. Say, oh, the Panther went down in action from the Germans, failed to save the day. This is definitely bad news for the Reich, since they did not get anything for that Panther. That was Not good at all, not good at all. We now see an Austrian flag pants out for Ccarts. Going to keep the skies clear of any sorts of flying communists. They are managing to drain currently the Russians of most of the resource in the west, but the Russians on the other hand making good progress on the right hand side. So there's a slight problem there since Ccarts pretty much abandoned the right hand side. Canadians here going to get overwhelmed by shock. Penal troops, Eschel Stug moving up, but it's getting absolutely blasted into the nothing, and there we go, dead. Bit of a problem there. Ustvin moving up. And there we go, veteran 2 for the H-85, increasing the damage it does, and actually, I suspect it, and thus actually also makes it gain veterancy faster than a veteran 2 German tank, because again, more vet experience is now gained through doing damage. And there we go, entire Pioneer squad killed with one shot. Again, another slight thing there again, this H-85 has received the AOE. The Stug hasn't. And again, I'm sorry for banging on about that, but I really hope they fix that soon enough. As it's slightly awkward. There we go, communists down south in a bit of trouble. You're seeing more armour being rushed to the front now. Rickysheu getting the Panzerwerfer. And it's time to look at Ccarts once more. Very low on units, as you may casually notice. Looks like he's trying to go for that Tiger. But very much lacking the fuel for the time being. And also note then that Jaeger armour has been chosen by Rickysheu, meaning they're both very much depending on some very high level units, and they don't have much otherwise. Flexible induction fragmentation bomb going in. Oh, taking out lots of penal troops. Nasty stuff there. Machine gun bunker protecting the central victory point in the name of das Reich. But the Totenkopf troops are finding themselves slightly overwhelmed by the onslaught of the Russians. Their H-85, which again is now veterancy 2, thus more lethal and also more likely to reach veterancy 3. Again, it does more damage now, which also means it's going to gain more veterancy than it did previously. And a bunker up there, but that's going to get cleared out. Panther pulling up. Grenadiers bringing in, might try and Panzer faster, make it harder to maneuver. No good advance on the right side. Again, Ccarts rendering himself very vulnerable, very open again, leaving his teammate to do most of the work most of the time, which again is a generally bad idea. A few conscripts here getting burned by the conscripts. H-85 is pulling back as the Panther advances. Panther taking some nasty hits to the side, needs to get back already down to half health. And a quick move in from a Soviet aircraft. A bombing strike, not really doing much, but again that Panther needs to get out of there very quickly. As the Pioneers went up in flames here, leaving behind only one conscript and a flamethrower for him to pick up if he so desires. But the right hand side is largely lost. In fact, now it's getting to cut off, forcing their Panzer Grenadiers to counter-attack, especially to shock trooper squad. That is definitely bad news. Panzerwerfer blasting away here, ultimately not achieving a lot. So a bit of a setback right there, to put it mildly. And again, we're seeing here he's going for the Tiger, but he's still also floating a ton of manpower. He could be getting more Panzer Grenadiers. He could be getting the artillery field officer. In fact, he is. About damn time. He could have been using him for some to support his Stugs, because again, his ability right here, Mr. Concentrated Fire, actually also works on vehicles. It makes them fire faster and, you know, more accurately. I mean, that could really benefit Stugs. For example, all the Stugs he had might have been much more powerful for that, or all the infantry. But there we go, we are seeing the Tiger again, back in company rears too. But will Ccarts be able to put it to full usage, or will it be wasted? Tragically so. Time passes by. And another Panzer Grenadier squad did in fact arrive for Ccarts. as his officers now supporting the Panzer Grenadiers up here. They'll need to get warmed up. Machine gunner up there for the Tiger. Panzerwerfer continues to blast away, and looks like oh, the bunker is actually still there but getting repaired. So the Tiger being sent off to support the advance. And of course the first 3 SS Panzer divisions did for a very brief time have their own Tiger companies, but were forced to hand them over to the greater Waffen-SS to form into fully independent SS Tiger battalions or schwere Panzerabteilungs. So again, little fun fact there. The only division which actually retained its Tiger companies, sort of really from what I know, was the Panzergrenadier Division Großdeutschland, which retained it throughout the entire war. Or well, at least until it remained feasible.
That ground belongs to us now.
That ground belongs to us now. So there we go. He also has smoke artillery barrages. He can also victor targets, which can also be quite handy. And there we go, coming on front. There we go. Flamethrower tank bursts into flames as the H-85 just... Oh, goodness gracious. That was just devastating. Tiger slowly advancing. Climbing out the field gun there. And the bunker went down. Bunker went down. Officer moving up. All a bit of quiet. More pioneers. And we're seeing a heavy concentration of Russian units here. He could of course try and call in the Stuka strafing run to support his teammate, keep the troops pinned down, allow his own troops to advance in his armour, for example. Or a fragmentation bomb to help things out that way. You know, something just, you know, put up some pressure on the Russians. Ccarts again is allowing his teammate to do most of the fighting. And again, that's a slight sin which I have seen repeated much from Company of Heroes, which is generally never good. Veterans 1 there for the Panther. These Veteran 3 Grenadiers, though, are not going to hold up for much longer. And looks like something very big is arriving. Yes, in fact, the Elephant Heavy Tank Destroyer. Will that be enough to save the day? More Panzerwerfer fire from Rickysheu. Veterans 1 and 22 kills. That's actually quite nice. Also, spotter scopes for this is definitely not bad either, but needs to be careful. H-85s are moving up. Field guns so as well. Tiger moving over to support. Panzer Grenadiers there as well. Again, get the officer over there. Help have him boost the Tiger, you know. Have them work in tandem. I mean, if you can get a Tiger much more accurate and firing much faster, that's definitely going to be a huge benefit, I would say. First shot misses, though, these pinned shock troopers. And a shot from the H-85 wrecks the statue. Right there in the cemetery, Panther rolling up, trying to hit up the flank. A Stuka bombing run here would be absolutely devastating. There'd be not much room for them to move in. But no such luck. Tragically so. And there we go, H-85 could go down. The Elephant is firing away. Panzerwerfer Panther, Tiger moving in to hit the flank. Fragmentation bombing run. Tiger, though, exposed its flank. And IS-2 is in. And IS-2. Elephant Panther needs to move up. Come on, there we go. Got one there, H-85. Oh, the Tiger's been shot again. IS-2 now has a chance of shocking the crew of an enemy tank if it does not penetrate. And that's what happened here to the Tiger. It's been caught right in the field of everything. And now he's calling in it. Now he's calling in it. Oh, good lord, Rickysheu, you're too slow. Should call in when you have the chance. Now it's just too late. Very much too slow. Very much too slow. And we actually now also seeing the strafing run again. Too slow from either of the players. I have no idea why they waited until after everything had gone wrong they tried to use it. Definitely not the best usage there. Hope you will not repeat these, gentlemen. Mistake right there. IS-2 heavy 50 cal machine gun on there, although of course it was a DSK something, but essentially a 50 cal machine gun. And of course this veteran to the HV85 is going to be very, very nasty. Very, very unpleasant.
We have new units. Territory secure. Spook bombers ready for orders.
Might want to get the elephant close to support the front line. Definitely would be the thing to try and get the IS-2 with. The Joseph Stalin tank. More Panzer for fire. Plenty of munitions floated right here by Rickysheu, so he could be trying to get some good targets with it.
You need an elephant? Ready for orders.
Panther ready as well. Panzer guys and pioneers holding out here in the buildings, apparently hiding from a blizzard. Possibly from the attention of Ccarts. Hard to tell. Popping back though to Caeltos with considerably increasingly veterans units, or veterans, and oh dear, bad news for the Germans. An ISU-152 has been called in. A heavy assault gun. And there we go, the elephant has arrived. Needs to be careful though. And meanwhile the fighting continues here for Hansmoleman shock troopers. And looks like this house is burning up due to a direct incendiary strike on it. And that means it won't be occupable troops, and it will actually begin slowly just falling apart. Very nice, and these shock troops can actually go down. Ooh, nasty that. Panther actually using blitzkrieg tactics, nice, nice, but needs to be careful, needs to get behind. No, he's getting in front of the everything they have. He's going to lose that Panther. What an absolute shame, and now the elephant tank destroys without support, without cover. This is very quickly getting very ugly. Already there, down to half health. There is simply nothing to do once the H-85 fires and actually penetrates, for that matter the ISU-152, which will do damage no matter what. Huh. That's a rare occasional soak grenade, not doing much very well. There we go, firing, and the elephant misses. Oh dear, he just really seems to have a hard time hitting anything lately. Panzer fighting the IS-2. Shot misses again or fails to penetrate. Either is not really promising. Penal troops now tearing up the right flank of the Soviet Germans. And veterans run for the elephant, which could allow it to stun a tank, allowing to finish it off further. And a quick rifle grenade there. Elephant being forced forwards. Needs to be careful though, it's under heavy fire. H-85 continuing to rake up the German kills, forcing the Grenadiers away as well. And there you go, conscripts flanking the elephant with flamethrowers. And again, nothing covering it. And there you go, anti-tank grenade, wrecking the engine. And now we see the Russians are in on a hunt, and they are hunting for elephants. And now it looks like Ccarts is just going for Panthers, having given up on the whole Tiger idea, at least for the time being. And there we go, the elephant burns up. Panzerwerfer though continues to fire away in desperate attempts to stop the Soviet advance, getting one, poor bastard, but that's about it. And there you go, Panther advance from both German players. Trying to get the shock troopers while the counterattack goes up here. And two Panthers get caught in the blast as well. That Chancellor Charles definitely has an incredible blast. And already another Panzer gun is down, leaving behind only the command team there of the artillery field officer. Bunker holding up there, these penal troops. Bad news all around for the Reich, for the Totenkopf Panzerdivision. Oh, it's actually time for the mid-game analysis. Current situation, the Germans are holding on for dear life. They are suffering quite considerable losses as the Russians are slowly building up more and more firepower, bigger and bigger guns, while the Germans are losing theirs in sometimes rather unfortunate matters. And again, Rickysheu is the one doing the most fighting. He's also the one with the most veterancy because, again, you know, he's better at keeping them alive as well, and that's rather problems. What Ccarts need to do is actually build up a decent force. He needs how to preserve it. He needs to attack in the flank, you know, try to, you know, and they need to coordinate not just the unit abilities, but unit usages, but also abilities, because sometimes, you know, it just seems to happen, you know, after everything's happened, we'll call in a strafing, or we'll call in a bombing strike, you know, rather than when they might actually have done anything. Which is a bit of a problem, so they need to concentrate, and they need to do some serious damage. I would suggest Rickysheu pushing up here, while Ccarts moves up here and tries to hit them in the flank from, well, around here. I believe that would definitely work considerably better than what they're trying to do, which is a much more sledgehammer approach, which is definitely not working out for the Germans. For the Russians, of course, they need to slowly push forward. They need to keep their heavy units overwatching each other. That's covering it with the IS-152, basically, you know, ensuring that the IS-2 doesn't quickly get overwhelmed or cut off. And otherwise, just keep up the pressure. Rather what they need to do, but again, the Germans need to get their bloody act together, in particular Ccarts. But let's return to the fight. Command team moving on.
Units awaiting orders.
Troops are slowly freezing to death here for Caeltos, and again, my apologies, this is a bit late. But again, I need to prepare that last episode before I pop off to Relic Entertainment and visiting them in Vancouver. So, my sincerest apologies. But a bit of quiet here as points are being secured. The silence only being broken right there by that Panzerwerfer firing away. And killing one poor guy. Possibly his dog, Mr. Snippy.
Ready.
Panther getting repaired right there. All a bit quiet for the time being. ISU-152 were sort of a second generation vehicle of the same type. The previous one was the SU-152, largely the same gun, I think, with slightly lower velocity, also considerably less effective armor. But it existed. Also, I think largely looked the same, though I might be somewhat wrong on that one.
The blizzard is gone.
Shock troopers advancing up the right flank. Panthers being built up. And a KV-8 flamethrower tank is out for Hansmoleman. Roaring forwards in the name of the motherland. Going to pour hot, burning fuel onto the face of the Fritzes. And these artillery field officer fellows are running into a bit of a problem. ISU-152. Very much looking at them. And there we go, a one hit. One squad gone. Which is one of the reasons it, in fact, is firing so slowly, because again, it can wipe out an entire squad. But Panther might deal with the KV-8. Gaining vengeance. And another Panzerwerfer barrage, once more, not really making an impression on the Russians. Except on their eardrums, and that one doesn't really count. Popping over to Hansmoleman, his KV-8 in a bit of distress, but there we go, Ccarts moving up, and it's too late here for Rickysheu. He bounced through the fence, and then had an anti-tank grenade burst straight onto the engine block. And now we're seeing the IS-2 moving in. Rickysheu here overextending his Panther. Can the other Panthers or any other heavy armor save him? Doesn't look like it. Oh, the IS-2 missed. And there we go, the SU-85 also moving in. Panther taking heavy damage. Looks like that Panther is doomed. Doomed. And shock troopers behind it. I mean, this is Not looking remotely good for the Reich. Oh no, the Panzer Werfer got spotted by the Su-85 and it's wrecked it in one dramatic shot. And now the Panther exposing its rear to the field guns. That is good night for that one as well. And another Panther went down. Looks like though Ccarts is gaining more Panthers and a new Tiger. Eine neues Tiger. But will he be able to salvage the battle with it? Or will it fail like so much else? Fuel cache here likely to soon be gone. As the shock troopers tear into Mr. Rickysheu's forces. And a fight over here as the Tiger just tears into the penal troops. But needs to be actually able to hit them. Penal troops are getting suppressed and there we go on the run from the might of the Reich. A bit of quiet. Another elephant has arrived for Rickysheu in an attempt to hope that a second one will succeed, but the first one did not quite achieve the results that was hoped for. Panther moving up to support here with the Tiger, but can Ccarts leverage into something seriously threatening? Although this Su-152 is quite vulnerable. If he was to catch it off guard, that could be bad news, and looks like some sort of... Oh! Well, that was a bit obvious. I mean, and in that sense, the Stuka bombing strike is a bit, you know, like the V1. If your opponent knows, well, again, you're only doing one thing and he can only see one engagement going on, he likely knows what the target's going to be. So that was a bit unfortunate. And he's advancing up straight into the veterancy free shock troopers. That's a pretty bad idea right there from Rickysheu. And over here, the shock troopers are tearing through the Pioneer Squad. And it has popped back to Ccarts. Moving up the Panther and the Elephant. Opening up the entire right flank. In fact, we're seeing... Oh, looks like a Tellermine went off there. Actually, almost destroying this T-34 tank. Shock troopers under heavy fire from German Panzers. And a bunker to cover up here. Looks like Mr. Ccarts is going a bit bunker heavy. To basically save resources for that, and save, you know, using something that can attack the enemy with and save up frontage that way. And heavy fire going the other way. Looks like the Su-152 is rearing its ugly head. Again, sorry, slightly getting tired here. Need to get to bed soonish. But I figured I'd get this up since I'll be first back Monday afternoon. And looks like these conscripts are very much on the run. Slowly pushing up here with field guns and other fun business. And there we go. Su-85, KV-1 and the IS-2 ready on the flank. This is really bad news. And there we go, stunning the crew again with the Su-85. Tiger crew does not really have much luck. Lots of resources being flooded here. Could he try and going for another Panther? Could that be his attempt at salvation? Might unit. Oh, that's a Panther. I was about to say a Sturmpanzer 4, but clearly that was not the intention. And another Su-152 here for Caeltos. And the 1st Guards Mechanized Corps. A bit of shooting towards there with the Elephant, which immediately then comes under counter fire from the ISU 152, gaining at veterancy in the process. Huzzah!
Troops are dying in the cold.
And some of Ccarts' poor unfortunate troops are currently freezing to death, and these Panzergrenadiers really need to get out of there, need to get out of there! And there we go, getting off a nice hit, but also taking a very less than nice hit. And that T-34 is basically going to break up the entire right flank. A fragmentation bombing run. Where could it be? Where could it be? Clearing out the field gun right there. In fact, utterly wrecking it. And there we go, with the tank having broken through the bunker line here, at least about to. He will send in the shot penal troops to follow up. Tiger leading the advance here. Elephant following suit. Getting a few kills. Then we are seeing the Panther respond to the disaster. Ooh. Tiger once more getting utterly blasted. Stuka bombing run. Once more rather than misaim, not really achieving the most. T-34 coming under fire from the Elephant. I mean Panther. The situation is not exactly looking good for the Germans. 17 infantry kills on this AG-85, by the way. Panthers continue up here with one being rammed. This leaves the other Panther to save the day. It looks like they are well entrenched on the left side. Needs to be careful here as that ISU 152 could knock it out. And there we go, Panther takes a hit and is in fact already down to half health. Must have had something else shooting at it as well. And looks like that one ISU 152 is going to be joining in very well to see its brother. This is really bad news, and there we go. Field guns blasting away, other nasty stuff. And good night. Fighting here, not quite having much success with all of these shock troopers. And another of the bombing strikes. Actually getting a field gun in the process, breaking some of the ice, and I don't think there's anything left. Oh wait, there's Vasily and Boris, but that was about it. They seem to have been turned into something not quite distinguishable. Looks like he's starting to run out of munitions, which is definitely not good news either. The right flank seems to have now utterly and permanently collapsed. Grenadiers running into a bit of problem here with a flamethrower tank. And lost. And again, there's not really much of an assault here going on. Plus, I mean, none of the doctrines are really working towards it from their usage of them. In particular, Ccarts is not really getting much assault support out of his assault support doctrine at the moment. As two rolling forwards, the elephant actually being trouble penetrating the frontal armour. And here would be, for example, might be a good use, but no, not enough for the bombing strike. Elephant moving forwards, Panther rolling forwards. Could this be the moment where they pull it all together? Panther here taking intense fire from field guns. IS-2 went down, there's still another one left. Bombing strike with fragmentation. Gets it! And looks like the crew was shocked there on the IS-2. Veteran 2 for this IS-152, that is definitely very bad news. Elephant just needs to keep blasting away. And the bombing strike. And there we go. Down to half health now. Totenkopf is on the offensive once more. But can it last? Can it keep up the momentum? Or will it falter? Panther crushing, or at least attempting to crush unsuspecting combat engineers beneath its path. There we go. Speeding up, trying to get past it. Right, good. Get behind the other one. Get behind the other one. Elephant trying to get out of the line of fire. Well done. Elephant just needs to keep up the pressure. Come on, the great offensive of Yolta got another RG-152 over there providing fire support. Elephant, Panther here, Veteran 2, not Elephant. Tiger doing what they can to stop the infantry. They've got ISU-152, Veteran 2 is down. Panther though lost, KV-8 here just tearing into the infantry. Points are ticking down for the Germans. IS-2, SU-85, the RG-152 continue to blast away. And that Veteran 3, SU-85 continues to just kill. 18 infantry kills, 7 vehicle kills, and apparently 1 friendly killed. Elephant here is not having much luck. And my computer's having a bit of trouble keeping up with all of the action, in particular doing a blizzard. Veterans you on here for the Elephant, but having trouble dealing with the HU-85. Tiger blitzing ahead. KV-8 likely to go down. Elephant needs to keep focusing there. Desperate fighting currently going on, very desperate. Penal troops hiding inside the building. Oh dear, Panther down. Tiger has its rear exposed. Gunner killed. Oh, that's bad news. And he's actually moving it forwards. And Ccarts about to lose his second Tiger despite better efforts than the first one. And there we go. It's a flaming wreck out of control.
Standing by.
Like Rommel during France. Except Rommel didn't burst into flames. But there we go. Game over. A loss for the Reich, a loss for the SS Panzerdivision Totenkopf, and a glorious victory for the 1st Guards Mechanized Army. And of course we saw here the lessons, and the whole, alright, you'll do all the fighting, I'll just quickly take up, or in that matter you do one thing with the infantry, I do something else. Again, it rather puts a lot of pressure on one player, and it can easily backfire if that player all of a sudden gets ganged up on and forced away. It also rather meant that Caeltos was able to get off a good move there on the right hand side. Of course the scout car was able to turn him back somewhat. Caeltos being a bit lacking there in the anti-armor department, was ultimately able to make up for it. And again, that SU-85 turned out to be a real beast. Definitely one of the best units in this match, just tearing through German infantry and armor. Quite nice, and of course the use of heavy armor by the Russians was definitely much better than the one used by the Germans, which was in some cases more passive, in some cases odd. Also, doctrine ability usage was considerably stronger, of course a bit more flexible, but certainly assault support could have been used much better with more assault officer usage ability, perhaps another Orbital Blitz, just more of those strafing runs. Again, it just really didn't come off as probably coordinated, and that rather worked out to the Russians' advantage. So there you go, hope you enjoyed this match, hope you learned something. If you did, want to subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not send a replay of your own, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers, and see you Monday or Tuesday.